That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam.
So when I think about climate change, I feel frustrated.
Part of me is really angry about
doom and gloom.
I have a lot of concern about it.
I feel deeply saddened.
I feel a lot of rage,
climate change makes me think a lot of
almost all the time.
I have seen evidence that there has been climate changes for millions of years. And I don't know whether the one we're going through now is an anomaly or something like this did happen millions of years ago.
I'm worried not enough is being done to resolve all of the issues in this political climate. I'm worried about the future of my grandchildren and what they're going to face.
It's like watching two trains about to collide, and the conductor has the ability to switch to the other track, but he's just going full steam ahead, and I'm screaming and pleading at him to do something, but it has absolutely no impact. It's hard not to get angry with people for their apathy.
It's actually starting to impact a lot of the people that I live with and work with, which makes me kind of nervous. I interact with and have a lot of family members who are climate change deniers. They're quite blind, unfortunately for political reasons, to the threats of climate change.
I know just how bad climate change is, and despite all of that, I do things that are hypocritical, and part of me is really angry about it because the people who are really responsible for that in a lot of ways are people who set up our current social systems and infrastructure that rely on gas and oil.
I don't think we really know what's going to happen, but I think we all know it's probably not going to be very good. You have to do something about it, and people just refuse to believe it, so it's pretty disheartening.
It makes me worried about having children and reproducing because I think that there may be famines in our future and potentially conflict. It also makes me want to do things like not buy a house in New Orleans, which is where I'm originally from. It's actually affecting choices that I'm making in my life.
Climate change is an existential threat to life on Earth, and how our generation deals with climate change will determine the survival of large swaths of life on Earth, likely including humans and other species.
When I think about climate change, I feel terrified for humanity as I witness greater incidents of horrific natural disasters. I feel deeply angry at the corporate interests and politicians who continue to deny these consequences. I try to limit my carbon footprint. Nothing feels like enough. It often feels like I have no alternative but to take part in the destruction.
Anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions are one of the most significant drivers of climate change, and if we don't act now, impacts from global warming may be irreversible. At our current rate, the IPCC predicts a global temperature increase of almost 5 degrees Celsius by 2100. Warming on this scale would have catastrophic implications. Many of the impacts of climate change are already being observed today.
Climate change still worries me because it's so politicized. You have significant groups of people who don't believe climate change is real, and even some scientists who find climate data insufficient. I think in order to make real change happen, corporations, politicians, all those people in charge have to be the ones to make the effort.
I feel like protecting the environment is really important, and climate change is a big part of that. We should strive to reverse some of the negative impacts that we've had on climate change so that we can preserve the earth, not only for its natural resources, but also for its beauty and just the fact that we shouldn't take it for granted.
I think that climate change is real, and you're stupid if you think it's not real. Humans are a big cause of it because when we burn fossil fuels, CO2 is released into the air and then it warms up the planet.
Nothing feels like enough.
And I think this election is basically going to decide if we survive as a species or not.
I'm hoping that this issue can be depoliticized.
I really hope that people get their heads out of the sand.
I can only hope that what little the rest of us can do will make our world last a little longer.
And I really just hope that if I have kids one day that there still is a planet for them, really.
There is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. Like it or not, for the moment, the earth is where we make our stand. It underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another, and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.